Imagine you are struggling to pay your rent. Your bank balance is almost zero. Investors have rejected your ideas. You have no customers. What would you do? Most people would have given up in such a case. But Airbnb's founders did something crazy. They rented out three air mattresses in their apartment to strangers. And that simple idea eventually became one of the biggest travel companies in the world. So today let's break down Airbnb and understand how three ordinary people built a startup worth billions. So let's start with one simple question. What was the problem that Airbnb was solving? So back in 2007, hotels had two major issues. First, they were expensive, and second, during major events, they were almost impossible to book. And at the same time, thousands of people had spare rooms or empty apartments which stayed unused. One side there was empty space, while the other side desperately needed a place to stay. And Airbnb connected these two groups. So sometimes $1 billion ideas don't come from creating something new. They come from connecting existing problems in a smarter way. So let's look at the founders' story. So there were three founders, Brian Chesky, Joe Gebbia, and Nathan, and they were living in San Francisco. So they couldn't afford their apartments to rent. One weekend, a design conference came to the city. Hotels were completely booked. They brought three air mattresses, created a simple website called Air Bed and Breakfast, and offered breakfast along with a place to sleep. Three people booked, and that was the proof they needed. Success doesn't come overnight. Investors rejected Airbnb repeatedly. Some believed strangers would never stay in someone else's home. Today, millions of people are doing exactly that every year. So, how does Airbnb work? Airbnb is actually a marketplace. It doesn't own hotels, it doesn't own apartments. So, it simply connects host and the guest. So, think about it. If you have an empty room and you can become a host, what if I am traveling? Then I become a guest. And Airbnb just does that. Airbnb brings us together and it handles the payment, builds trust through reviews, and provides customer support. This is called an asset light business model. So instead of owning real estate, Airbnb owns the platform and that makes it incredibly scalable. So let's understand the business model. Let's look at it like a business. So how do you think that Airbnb makes money? It's surprisingly simple. Whenever a guest books a stay, Airbnb charges a service fee. Hosts also pay a fee in many cases. So every successful booking generates revenue. The more people book through Airbnb, the more Airbnb earns. Notice something important. Airbnb doesn't need to build hotels. The hosts, doesn't have to invest in properties. Guests will create demand and Airbnb simply operates the marketplace. So that's why the margins can be much stronger than the traditional hotel chains models which is there. So why did Airbnb grow so fast? This is where the product strategy comes in. Airbnb had several advantages. Number one, network effects. More hosts meant there were more properties, and more properties attracted more guests. And more guests encouraged even more hosts to join the platform, which created a powerful growth loop. Second, trust. People were nervous about staying in strangers' homes, and Airbnb solved this with verified profiles, reviews, ratings, secure payments, and customer support. Third, great user experience. High quality photos, easy booking, flexible filters, and personalized recommendations made planning the trip very simple. So, Airbnb wasn't just selling accommodation, it was selling the unique travel experiences. However, there were obviously challenges, and because no journey is ever easy. Many cities introduced regulations limiting short term rentals. Hotels argued that Airbnb created unfair competition. During COVID-19 pandemic, travel almost stopped overnight and bookings collapsed. Many people believed Airbnb's story was over. Instead, the company adapted. It focused on long-term stays, remote work, and domestic travels, and that flexibility is what helped Airbnb recover and continue growing. So if I was Airbnb CEO and I got a chance to lead Airbnb today, I'd be focusing on these three areas. Number one, AI powered travel planning. Imagine you're describing a dream vacation in one sentence and Airbnb creates a complete itinerary with stays, experiences, and local recommendations. Number two, loyalty rewards. Frequent guests and highly rated hosts could earn meaningful benefits which could encourage repeated bookings. And third, smarter host tools. AI could help tools optimize pricing and improve the listings and predict demand. That would strengthen Airbnb's competitive advantage. So if you ask me what are the three startup lessons that I learned from here. So this does teach us three powerful lessons. Number one, great startups solve real problems and not imaginary ones. Lesson two, you don't always need to own assets to start a business. Sometimes owning the platform is enough. And lesson three, trust can be a company's biggest competitive advantage. Without trust, Airbnb would have never succeeded. So Airbnb didn't become successful because it has built more hotels. It became successful because it changed the way people were thinking about travel. It turned spare rooms into income. It turned strangers into hosts, and it transformed a simple idea into a global business. That is the power of solving the right problem. So if you have enjoyed this startup breakdown video, let me know which company I should cover up next. Should it be Zerodha, Canva, Cred, Netflix, or OpenAI? Or you can just subscribe to watch more startup breakdown videos or product teardown videos, or just product masterclasses which I'm doing. Or if you want ask me any questions, you can reach me out on any social media handles which are there in the description box below. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do not forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and definitely subscribe to my channel. Thank you. See you in the next video.